So I'm so excited to have Viviane here with us. She is our Workawayer of the month, and we're just going to jump right into the questions. So, in the last 12 months, despite COVID, you have managed some epic adventures. I noticed on your profile you've completed workaways in Austria, Spain, Peru, Colombia, and I wondered if you took certain precautions or did you have to adapt plans in order to make these adventures happen during the pandemic?
Yes. So actually, Workaway was a godsend throughout the pandemic because a lot of countries that still required a 2-week quarantine, a lot of Workaway hosts were allowing you to quarantine at their place. So you had to take the normal precautions of getting into the country. You'd have a negative COVID test. Most of the time you had to, these things were all still the same, but then you knew once you were in a country, for example, in like Chile, they had like a 24-hour travel pass. So you had 24 hours to get to your destination. And then I was doing a 6-week workaway there. So then I knew that, I was going to be fine with my 2-week quarantine. And then for the next 4 weeks, I had a place to like be and explore. And that was a huge relief too, because especially when things started to get much more complicated and a lot of countries were really shutting down, you could be in the middle of the forest and have like amazing trails to explore, be doing a workaway in a random part of the world.
Yeah, well, that's actually perfect because that's my next question. So as the world now, it's slowly beginning to open up. Do you have any tips or advice for those that are nervous to give Workaway a try after COVID, or any advice for those that are nervous about getting their backpacks on again?
Yeah, I think a lot of Workaway hosts do an incredible job of, they really do an incredible job of like COVID safety. Most workaways I think are kind of out in the middle of nowhere or far away, and once you're there, in my experience, you're there to explore like the land around you. So you're not necessarily going down into the town and like, interacting with people or whatever. And so I think really the beautiful thing is that with Workaway, you can just continue to like explore the areas around you, and hosts are really clear on their like COVID guidelines. Hosts are really clear on like being COVID safe and whatnot. And I've had no troubles with anyone having COVID in any of the workways I've been, or with any of the hosts, not taking precautions or whatnot.
And you're currently at a workaway right now in Panama.
Yes.
Do you want to talk a little bit about like what you've been up to, what your role is, what you do in your spare time?
Yeah, I am at the Lost and Found Hostel in Panama. It's near Hornito. It's like basically smack dab in the middle of Panama. And it's a really cool hostel with a lot of hiking trails and we're in a cloud forest, and it's the rainy season, so it's very rainy. Which is good. But so the hostel's actually closed right now. There aren't that many. It's only by invitation because there really aren't that many tourists in Panama, and so it just wasn't cost effective to keep it open. But there's still volunteers who, for the few guests that do come, we like make the beds, whatever. We are cleaning up the place. We're getting it like nice and pretty for when they do reopen. We're painting the kitchen. We're, doing like big mass cleans of the dorms and making sure that these places, which haven't been cleaned in probably a little bit of time, are now clean. And just like taking the opportunity, because normally this place apparently has like 40 to 60 people on site at any given time. And right now there's like 7. So really taking the opportunity to just like clear out the entire area and make it ready for people to come. And in my spare time, there's amazing waterfalls around here. There's a volcano. Actually, I think, this is the volcano. It's called Volcan Baru, and you can hike it. It's about I think it's maybe a 27-kilometer hike, like a 20-mile hike. And it's about an hour away, and you start at 5 a.m. And you kind of just complete it. Don't really have much of a choice if you want to get to the top. And yeah, there's just really beautiful things to see around here. It's a perfect pocket in Panama, like really in the middle of like Bocas, which a lot of people love to go to. It's a beach town, and then Boquete, which is like more of a mountain town, and you're basically an hour and a half, 2 hours away from those two places.
Do you have a highlight from your Workaway so far? Is there maybe a host that stands out or a special experience? Is there a highlight?
Man, they're all so wonderfully weird in their own way. I think in Peru, it was a really cool thing. So I used to be scared of dogs because I was a runner, and I am a runner, and dogs chase you. And I never had a dog growing up, and so I really just didn't vibe with them. But you can't really tell people that because they get very upset. And so I was like, I'm gonna do a Workaway with a dog. And so I found a dog rescue place in Peru, and my fear was that I was going to show up and there was going to be like 20 dogs that are just like barking at the gate, waiting for me to like get in with a huge backpack.
Nice.
And like, you know, the beautiful thing about worrying is that it's never expected, and it's always like either 10 times worse than you expected. So there's no point in like stressing, or like it didn't exist. And sure enough, I show up to this like huge gate. I like didn't even know where it was. First of all, it's like cross over a bridge, climb a little hill, show up to this big gate, just open it up a little bit, and there's like 12 dogs that just book it towards me, and I'm like, like complete and utter shock. And I like slowly close the gate and call the owner, and I'm like, I'm outside. But it ended up being really one of my favorite Workaways, and the dogs ended up being so incredibly kind and so cool. And I like the dog culture in that town was so incredibly weird to like witness with like these alpha dogs and whatever. So that was a good time.
So my next question is for your host, who can't be on the call at the moment, but we've got a little clip. The question was, do you feel COVID has affected your role as a host? Are you hesitant to accept as many Workawayers, or do you feel safe now to continue life as normal?
Yeah, during the pandemic, we've had the same amount of Workawayers, if not maybe more, because of the property is so large, and to keep a good atmosphere. For the people living there, we'd like to be surrounded by more people, and and continue to have a safe environment and good atmosphere and good vibes, and need all the help we can get.
And my next question, what's next for you and Workaway? This is for your host. Do you have more Workawayers joining later in the year, maybe when the season picks up, or is there skills that you are looking for particular help with?
Plan on having volunteers throughout the rest of the year. We could use some more skilled labor. Besides that, we're satisfied, and we're going to continue to host volunteers.
Can I just squeeze in one more question? If there was someone
please.
If there was someone watching this right now and they were like, I don't know if Workaway's for me, I don't know if I should give it a try, what would you tell them?
I think Workaway is so good. I'm like hilariously mad that I didn't think of it myself. You know, it's like such a brilliant concept, and I think for anyone, you know, a 60-year-old to a 20-year-old to like literally people from all over the world, you have so many different options. You can really create your own experience. You can be in a family if you want to like immerse yourself into the culture. You can be at a hostel, you can get a community, you can like meet fellow travelers, and you do all this while having a bed of your own for more than like 2 nights, which as like, you know, a nonstop traveler for the last 10 months is such a beautiful relief. You get a little bit of routine, and I think you really explore parts of the world that you would not have gone to, and that you would never have even thought about visiting. And so I think there's really a Workaway for anyone who's looking for any sort of adventure. I would really recommend absolutely anyone to just try it, you know?
That was such a good answer. Thank you so much. That was such a good answer. But thank you so much for your time. And we look forward to hearing a bit more about it when you get to Ecuador.
Totally. Thank you so much, Lauren.
Thank you. Speak soon. See you later.
Bye.